Hello and welcome to this week's episode of My CP Does Not Define Me, where we focus less on this and more on the ability of women's handling. Join us each and every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, live on the Disability Global Broadcast Facebook page and LetGoRadio.net. Looking forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? It's D to the J with a roll away, and it has been a long hiatus, but I'm back and I'm better than ever, and we are live, and it is time for episode 115, season 3 of My CP Does Not Define Me. I'm D to the J with a roll away, your host, and you will notice a little bit different background now as I'm launched in season 3. I have someone with me. I have my fiance Kim. She is permanently a Virginia resident now and has moved in permanently. So, hello everybody. Hi Kayla, how are you? Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you being here. Um, if you're new to the show, do me a favor, leave a comment. Let me know who you are, where you're from, and how you found out about the show. Whoever you are, we're glad to have you here. I'm going to go through the show today a little bit sporadic because I'm going to give some updates on what's been happening. I'm going to give some updates on myself and our new service dog. And also, I'm going to give an update on how I broke my ribs. So that's a new update for you. Hey, Michael, how are you? It is good to see you, my friend. I recently left on June 10th to pick up Kim from New York, and I rented a full size van to get most of her stuff. And hey, Miss Jenny, and get everybody home. Well, I tried to get in the van the regular way, and I wasn't able to do so because my butt was not tall enough to reach the seat. And that's all I got to say about that. So I turned around and I Superman dove into the van. Well, when I Superman dove into the van and Steve grabbed my legs to help me get in, I hit the console in the middle of the van and cracked my left rib. So I am in quite a bit of pain and have been for about 4 days now or so. But I am kicking and screaming and crying and somewhat yelling in languages I shouldn't be yelling in because everything hurts, including cough. So um, I am here. As I said, I was going to launch on June 14, and by God, I'm launching on June 14. I'm not launching very far, Zach, but I'm launching. Um, I'm glad to be home. The trip was a great success. The van was great. The company we rented from was great. And it was just a lot of fun. It was a good trip. Overall, it was costly, but luckily I had some help in that department. And to all my friends and family and people that dipped into their pockets and helped sponsor this trip and make it happen. Special thanks to Stephen Taylor, man. I couldn't have done this without you driving all the way down and all the way back up in one freaking weekend. What an awesome dude. So I thank you for that. And thank you to Kim and Baby for riding with me for 7.5 hours in the car. Oh boy. But we made it. So just a couple of things. Today's show is going to be about validation, and I'm going to get there. And is it needed? I look at people a lot, and they feel the need to validate themselves, or something that they do needs to be validated. And I've got a definition. I've actually got several definitions of validation. If I can pull up my notes here, give me just a second because I We'll find it. And all right, let me pull up the validation. All right there's what we want. So, in the first definition, it says the action of checking or proving the validity or accuracy of something. Okay? Now I want to go through this definition. The action of checking or proving the validity or accuracy of something. So for the first part, that to me, and I had a friend of mine that is very intelligent. It seems like they're asking, or someone is asking, am I doing the right thing? Can you tell me or validate for me, is this correct? Is this right? Sometimes validation can be overwhelming because I don't believe that things need to be validated unless you're in a school setting or unless you're in a structured setting where you're trying to do something, you're trying to figure something out, you don't know the answer, and you're going to validate whether you're doing it properly according to your instructor's wishes. I think that we as people, disabilities or not, put too much pressure on ourselves and validate ourselves to say, is this right? I have CP, I have spina bifida, I have MS, I have this, I have that, I have no arms, I have no legs. Am I going to be worth it? Is it going to be worth it to do this? Is this the right thing? If if you in your right mind feel that you are doing the right thing, if you feel that you want to do something, no matter what it is your decision. That is your decision. It is your life. You don't need to validate to others why you're doing it. When you have to explain something to another person and they feel that you're wrong, that is their opinion. That is not their validation. And I think a lot of people get confused between an opinion and a validation. Everybody has an opinion, just like everybody has a butthole, and sometimes what comes out of it stinks. I'm trying to keep this at least PG rating. Y'all stay with me. I don't want to sit here and say that validation isn't important. It is to a point, but you as an individual that's sitting out there that wants to be, let's just say, a dancer or an author or a brain surgeon, you don't need somebody to validate to you why your dream is important. And I think we as people, we look for that group that's going to make us feel that's going to, hey Matthew, how are you? That's going to make us feel important. If somebody has to make us feel important or validate us to be in the right frame of mind, and we have to go off of our dream path and say, all right, I need this person to tell me whether I'm doing the right thing. So many people will ask, you're in a new relationship, and the person is moving in, but you guys aren't married. Okay, that's fine. But let's look at it this way. When you're together and you're in a relationship and you're with the person, you can't validate anything until you're together, because you have to see the good days, you have to see the bad days, you have to see the frustrating days, you have to see the days where nothing goes right, you have to see the days where everything goes right. But that doesn't mean that I'm glad to have you on the show, Matthew. Thank you for being here. I think, now, all right, so a reality check, it can be, Kayla. That can be, and I've got two other definitions that I'm going to get into in just a little bit. And Kim, feel free to chime in here too. I don't think a relationship needs validation from anybody else but the other two, but the two people that are in it. And I think too many people put their hands in the cookie jar or their mouths on the microphone, so to speak. You agree?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, I don't want to sit there and say you can't have an opinion, but if you're going to tell me, you know, exactly what I need to do and how I need, look, I'm not training an animal. This is a human being. She has feelings and thoughts and ways that she wants to do things. We have to learn to adapt, and that's going to be a key word. And when it comes to a validation here, I'm going to use this. Kim doesn't like to have things in the sink. She's very clean. She's very, you know, everything has its place, and I like that because in a way it keeps me in check, but it also says, okay, that's one less thing that we have to do later. Now, does that mean that she's got to get up every 25 seconds and do something? No, because she hits the gas pedal 110 miles an hour in the house, and we end up losing a wall. And I'm like, honey, come on back. We gotta replaster that wall now. But you see, everybody's used to go, and she'll ask a question, and for validation, I think, does that make me this? Does that make me this? Is that this? See, we don't need to validate that. We don't need to validate. That's your DNA as to what you feel and what you do is what you are. Okay, that's what makes you you, and it is one of those things that you just are. Your inner workings are your inner workings, and it's what makes you tick. Now you got to understand, as a man and a woman, we're going to see things differently. We're going to communicate differently. We're going to get frustrated differently, and it's going to happen at different times. You know, and but the problem is I don't need to validate to Kim why she's frustrated or why she's not frustrated, just like she doesn't have to validate to me that her frustration is legitimate. That's in the situation that I don't think validation is needed. Am I doing the right thing? I don't like that type of validation. Now the second definition.
Especially when you're an adult, you don't need validation from nobody.
Well, and that's true. You know, the last time I checked, if we're over 21, that means we're adults and we can do what we want to do. But let me read this. Okay, the second definition: the action of making or declaring something legally or officially acceptable. This is where I'm talking about, you know, you've got a court document that you're looking at. You're trying to make sure all the I's and T's are dotted and crossed. You want to make sure that it's neat. You're not saying the wrong words so somebody else can get that legal loophole and get you out of where you're trying to go. That's where it's the fine-tooth comb, and you're trying to validate that the document or presentation or report or whatever it is that you're trying to give is going to be what it's going to be. Now, in doing this show, the one thing I validate is a person's courage. Because to sit up here in front of this camera and talk by myself, I've been doing this show a long time. And I've had guests, I've had 2, 3 co-hosts, I've had multiple people tell me that this show gives them inspiration. This show makes them feel like they can do anything. This show makes them feel they can go and be, and they can, okay, and I used to ask the question why. Because I didn't see it, because all I was doing was letting them share their story and trying to get their story out there. But you have to remember, just because you're sharing your story don't mean that you need to validate yourself. You're already here. You're already doing what you're doing and good enough. And there can be things that you do and you just go, I can't fix it. I can't get it. I can't. It happened to me today. I'm just and Kim had that validating moment, and I hate to use it. She goes, "Babe, you're helping me. You're doing what you can do. Don't worry about anything else." See, I'm the guy that looks this far ahead now. See, I used to be right here with the blinders on, straight ahead, tunnel vision. Now I'm trying to look all the way out here and look at everything at the same time. And you can't do that because everything gets like this, and it needs to be within your field of vision because you can control what comes out of your mouth. But that doesn't mean that it's not good or that you can't get it done. That's a great question. Let me pull this. Does people saying that validate the view of me? I think now awareness is different because when it comes to being aware of something, you may not even know that you're not aware of it until and again, it could be just the way it was presented. It could be what you read. It could be because it's all in how you take it. Sometimes it takes a second party or a third party to go, did you think about this way? It doesn't mean that your way of looking at it was wrong. It doesn't mean that your way of understanding it was, it's all in how you saw, all in how you interpret it. See, and that's another thing. With females and males, they're going to interpret things entirely differently depending on the situation. I was addressing a situation with Kim the other day, and she asked the question, not to go into detail, does that make me a certain way? Does that make me not intelligent? Does that make me because I struggle with this? Does it make me, not intelligent? I said, baby, no. Everybody has struggles in how they deal with something. Okay, they may not be aware. I'll get to that. Let me. that's a good question too. You may not even be aware of what you're saying because of how you're feeling at the time. People comment on my show, I don't see for validation. People comment on my show because they feel they can relate to it. They feel that they're connected to it. They feel that their story may be connected to it. What do you think? I mean, is it, do you think, you don't think people commenting on your show validates the need for it? There's always a need for something like this because there's so few of these. There's not a lot of platforms that you have that can do things like this because a lot of people don't know how to present the issues because they're always afraid of offending somebody or hurting somebody else. Sometimes and sometimes you got to go through pain to get pleasure. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful, but I'm saying sometimes you have to hurt to heal. The one thing I had to realize is I don't need to tell my story for someone to validate it and say good job. I need to tell it because it's true and we're human. That's it right there. That's exactly what I'm talking about. The true story doesn't need the validation to prove it. It's there because it's a need and it's the human side of it. And you realize, oh my God, the struggles are real. And you're looking at this going, this makes sense. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I can grab a hold of this and say, this is what I'm talking about. Kayla's been a viewer of mine. Good Lord. Ever since my show came out, and I used to be And let me look at it this way. I used to be so concerned about the numbers of people watching my show. Numbers, how many, how many, how many, how many, how many. Why am I not having 300,000? Why am I not having 300? Why am I not having 30? Why is there only 8 people? Why is there only 12 people? Why is there only 3 people? And Miss Winnie helped me realize something. You're looking for something that's going to come later. My show is where my show is right now because it's where it's supposed to be. When it grows and how it grows and the peaches, the people that it reaches. Wow, I tried to combine the phrase there. The people that it reaches is going to come when it's needed to. I've had as many as 40 people on my show. I've had, I've had uh, um, 90 or 100 at one time, but I've also had 10. I've also had 4. I've also had 8. The people that are supposed to be there will be there. And you can't focus on the number, because if you focus on the number, you're missing on the intent of who needs to hear your passion that comes from you. I literally, I was sitting there and I told my queen, I said, I'm tired. I'm tired. I don't know. And I'm sitting there, I'm going, oh God, it's almost 7:00, and we were watching a movie, and it's the best part of the movie. And she goes, we can watch it after your show, babe. Your people are depending on you to be there. People are, they want to see your show. Your show's important.
Amazing.
And amazing. And I'm like, I mean, sometimes you just don't see the impact that you have.
What other people see, you might not see.
Right. That's exactly what I'm saying. And for Miss Winnie, that was the point of, look, you can't worry about how many people are watching you. You have to worry about the audience that you have at the time that you have them. Because you can have people watching you, and this number don't mean a damn thing, because they may not say anything. You may have people watching you right now, and you don't even know that they're watching you, and you're affecting them by the way that you're presenting your show right now with the clean background. Okay? I'm the type of person, I give my all, I give 100%. I go till I can't go anymore. That's just how I am. And Kim knows when I get tired, baby, why don't you lay down? Tony Waterhouse, lay in the house. Anyway.
What's up, Tony?
I just, it's the type of thing where everybody's human. And I love the thing that Matthew brought up. The human quality of this show is what I love. When it gets down and dirty, and when it gets real, and people get emotional, and people get sad, people get mad, because we're talking about topics that are real and exciting to people, it does something to me and the individuals around me that watch. I've done 115 of these things. That's a lot for a show. Now Oh no, I know what you meant, Kayla. I get exactly what you're saying, but I do want to read what your comment is. I didn't mean that the true meaning of our story needs validation, but people commenting on our stories means that society needs awareness and validation of differences. I think that is what I meant. Yes, I agree. They do need to be totally aware of that, because if they're not, when they see differences, they're going to freak because they're afraid of what they don't understand. And then they pass you because you're different and they're not used to it. But see, all right, so here's the thing. Anybody ever watch Cool Runnings, the Disney movie? Bobsled team, right? Jamaican bobsled team. 4 black guys in a bobsled from Jamaica with different accents. And all the other countries are looking at them, and they're in this raggedy old sled. They're getting ready to go down the hill. And Yul Brynner, the big bald guy that's in the middle, little Junior is sitting behind him. He goes, seeming to you like nobody likes us. Yul Brynner said, people are afraid of what's different. People are always going to be afraid of what's different. Until they understand that when you stand side by side, however you stand, whether it's in a chair or on one foot or on one crutch or on one arm, or you sit on what butt cheek or whatever it is, we are all the same. If you line us up and you take away color and you open us up, we've got a mind here, a heart here, a soul here, and we're alive. Skin color doesn't matter because we are running off of this. This is what we're running off of, a brain, a 9.5-pound brain, a 9.5-pound gland that is capable of keeping you alive and doing 10,000 tasks per second. The brain is the only organ in the human body that never stops. Never stops. Because if your heart stops, you're going to die. If your brain stops, you're going to die. Stop thinking, stop trying, start dying. But yes, Kayla, you made a very, very powerful comment right there. And I do believe that people need to be aware of that. Because when you are aware that we don't all talk the same, walk the same, we are not all the same in how we communicate, but we deserve to communicate in the way that we do because that's what makes us who we are, but it doesn't stop us from being who we want to be. Now, that may be, and I'm going to get to my third definition in a second. Matthew, man, you're awesome, dude. I really appreciate your comments. This guy, I don't think I've seen this guy up here before, and it's funny because it's just to get new people coming into the show and to see comments just pop, 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 pop. That's what I like because then people are interactive. They're starting to, and then the audience starts growing and the number gets bigger. And I know I'm not supposed to focus on the number, but I can't help it because you go from, I'm not just talking to myself. I'm talking to other people. And no matter how different we are, we have similarities that make us the same. And when we start realizing that, that's when racism ends. See, when we start realizing that, that's when difference becomes a normality. The word different, that's my bulldog snoring in the background if you guys are picking her up. I just, I literally want to be the person that shows this world you've got to get away from the black and white of everything. There is no black and white anymore. There's no. The lines are there, but sometimes we as people are creating our own lines. I've followed you for a while, but it's my first time watching live. I can already relate so much, dude. Seriously, I'm glad to have. Thank you for being here. Welcome. It means a lot. Again, this is exactly what I was talking about. I've followed you for a while, but this is my first time watching live. So people follow you and they get what you're saying and they relate to it, but they may not say anything. And you're going, who am I really affecting?
This guy, he's amazing. That's talking to us.
Nothing in life has a. You got to finish your statement there, Kayla. That's just like, meeting clear cut answer. I think that's probably one of the best. Okay, I'll say this: very few things in life have a clear cut answer. Very few things in life have a clear cut answer. We're born, we live, we die. Okay, the only clear cut we've got. Okay, now what we do with that time, that's where the lines get kind of blurry. If we run around trying to catch a reindeer riding in the middle of the street somewhere, it's going to take us a little while because that reindeer may not show his face. That's something we can do. But, I think, the biggest thing is, 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 I don't know if you were. Obviously, I guess we've got to be friends on Facebook. Hit me up on Messenger after the show, and I will definitely get with you. Um, you know, I here's the thing. I don't. Oh, this my boy here, man. Twinkie done came on the show. Daniel Lone Wolf Quidgen, my boy. I'm gonna tell you, validation does make you feel good, but if you speak your truth, that's validation enough. Lead with your heart.
Amen.
Wow.
That's
Woodrow Wilson High School right there, baby. You got to understand, long time, been singing a long time. I love that. That comment right there. When it's truth and it needs to be heard and you're speaking with your heart, people are going to hear it and God's going to allow it to be heard. And that's something that took me a long time to realize in my 41 years of life. You can't force it. You can try like heck. You can get as mad as you want and get as many microphones and amplifiers and noisemakers and all of this stuff. But when it's God's time and it's the right time there, I'm just, man, this is awesome right here. Even communication, feeding in a bit, but that's okay, Kayla. The fact that that's not clear cut means to me that you have to take time to back up and listen for a minute. You've got to take time to slow down and realize that it may take some time for this person to get her words out. It may take time for this machine to talk for her, but when her words come out, you are going to know this girl knows what she's talking about. Kayla is one of the smartest people I know. I'm telling you. This chick right here, and I'm not trying to be funny when I say that, she knows what she's talking about. And I have had I've had the pleasure of being her friend for a long time. Hi Betsy, how are you? Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming back to us. It's one of those things that it may be hard to communicate. There may be a communication barrier, but if you take a minute to learn how the person communicates, think about this. 4-month-old child, daycare, right? You get the 4-month-old, all they do, wah, wah, all day long. They cry when they poop. They cry when they're hungry. They cry when they're angry. They cry when they're wet. You got to change them, and then they stop crying. And the whole time you're talking to them, did you make a poopy? Did you make a pee? All this stuff. And you're talking to them with bigger words than they're used to hearing. And their little brains are absorbing all of this. And then little words start forming when you're around these little munchkins long enough and they realize who you are. Dada, mama, nana. They start calling you and they start realizing and associating who you are. And the verbal skills get bigger, okay? And they may sign, okay? They may talk on a communication board. They may write it out. They may, but they never have to validate who they are. And you never have to validate who you are because you're good enough the way you were made. Oh, yeah. Knowing you for almost 30 years of life, I know you speak with your heart. Woo! And the fact that you have never let a disability disable you, I think your determination to do things that people take for granted and succeed allows us to see that you're not a person in a chair, but walking alongside us every step.
That is 100% true.
Yep. That's, see, and I never realized, when you go to school with somebody, and you know them and you're friends with them. Again, I've known that man for 30 years. To hear those words come out of his mouth, I I got emotional for a second because you when you're younger, sometimes you don't have that plethora of knowledgeable experience of how to express yourself like that. And sometimes there's different ways that you have to validate yourself at the time. And it's not really self validation, it's just knowing how a person feels. See, that's and, and I get that. See, that's thank you for saying that, Daniel. I appreciate that. I man, and this dude has changed his entire life. I mean, he, working out now, losing weight, gaining muscle, getting. And this what that's what he wanted to do. He made a decision to change the way he was doing things, and did it. There was no validation for it. It happened. He did it. He changed the way he wanted to be. Hello, Miss Sherry. How are you? Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. Man, got so many people up here today just commenting. Great day in the morning. Even though it's not the morning, it's the evening. I know that. Sorry about that. But I really appreciate you guys being here for the relaunch and just showing up, commenting, and asking lots of questions. Oh man, let's see. I'm proud to know that CP doesn't define you. Your determination does. You inspire me, bro. I love to see the things you do. Keep fighting. You too, buddy. Keep getting in front of that mirror. Keep working out. And get where set your goals. Do what you want to do. Hi, Faith. How are you? I hope that I hope that you continue and you've reached your goals but let there be a point to where you're happy with where you want to be, and I think that should be awesome. I really appreciate you saying all that. I hope you're still singing. We need to get together, man. I got the second CD coming out, and we need to get together. Seriously, we need to contact a couple of the guys and get together. But I've been singing with this dude since I was goodness gracious, we started singing in high school. I was 15. So you get a group of guys that Um, we're talking about validation right now, and the different meanings and where whether it's needed or whether it's not, and it is in some cases and it isn't in others. Let me get to this third definition real quick. I think that is part of it, but it can also get us in trouble, Kayla. Our pride can, our pride can, but I think it can also make us actually inflate, okay, and try to seem bigger than we are. Let me get this third definition real quick. I apologize, it went away for a minute. There it is. All right, and the third definition says recognition or affirmation that a person or their feelings or opinions are valid, worthwhile. Okay, that's the one that scares me. That's the one that scares me right there. Let me read that one more time. Recognition or affirmation that a person or their feelings or opinions are valid or worthwhile. No one on this earth should have to validate for you that your opinions are valid or worthwhile. You should know when it comes out of your mouth, if it's something that you want bad enough, if it's something that you believe in, if it's something that you want to go after, if it's something that you dream about, if it's something that you have set on your heart and it's something that you've researched and put your time and effort and destiny into, that is yours and nobody can take it away from you. I've said so many times, people don't need to tell you you're worth it. Because when they tell you you're not, they don't know what they're talking about. The problem that happens in this situation is that people value people's opinion too much. That's, when you start thinking, lay down, baby, when you start thinking about people's opinion and whether what they think or what this person thinks, you have to remember that it doesn't matter. If you want to take her out, I'm trying to a point where if you got to get to I'm worth it because this person said so, no. That person's opinion of you is a grain of salt in life. I thank you, Sherry. I am glad to hear that. Let me. It is. It's very, very tricky, Kayla. Let me read this. That's why my friends. That's why my friends so much. Wait a minute. I'm not sure if you mistyped there. That's why my friends so much because I never looked at my disability after they figured out the person I was, and it allows us to be human and push each other. Yeah, they can get past. They can get past all that. You can get past the fact that I'm in a chair. You can get past the fact that I have MS. You can get past the fact that one finger turns this way and one toe turns this way. It is what it is. We are what we are. We have the hand that we're dealt. Okay? It is our choice to play it or fold. Yeah, they can. It is our choice to play it or fold. That's all right. Yeah. And that's good. That means that you have the right type of friends because to them, your disability has nothing to do with your friendship. That's on a whole nother level. That's on a whole nother level. And when you've got a friend like that sees you for you and not just the person in the chair. Now, look, I'm in my chair. Unless I'm sleeping or pooping, I'm in my chair. Okay? That is a time. But my chair is not, it is not conformed to my body. I'm not the bionic man walking around like Terminator, pulling out metal parts, just executing people left and right. That's not what I do. Hey, thank you, Christina. Appreciate it. I look at my life as, look, I used a chair to walk around. Okay, I'm gonna get to point A to point B. I don't care whether it's a manual chair, a submarine, a school bus, a pickup truck that can fit in the house. They find one of those, I'm gonna end up in there. I'm gonna tell you that right now, though. I want one of those little miniature tanks I can drive around. Doesn't matter what it is. I'm gonna get where I need to go. Army truck. I don't. But see, here's the thing. I don't need you to validate me to tell me that I'm powerful. I don't need you to validate me to tell me that I'm a good person. I don't need you to validate my actions because of the way I do things. No, my chair isn't me, but it's part of me. See, that's what I'm saying. See, my chair isn't me at all, but it's part of me. And without it, I'd scoot around on my butt and get butt rash all day long. I don't want that. I'm being real, folks. You got to realize some people use a walker, some people use a cane, some people use a chair, some people use a stander, some people use another person to get around. Some people are carried, some people are they roll, some people crawl, some people drag, some people wiggle. They got to get where they got to get to from point A to point B. Now start wiggling over here. And you can't deny a mode of transportation. I love this right here. You don't owe anybody explanation. Validation starts from within.
Mm-hmm.
And how many you guys have seen me do 115 of these shows, and I've said in probably 113 of them, if you don't love yourself, how in the world are you going to love anybody else? Y'all have heard me talk about this till doomsday. When you get up and you look in the mirror, going back to Cool Runnings, Yul Brynner's in the hotel, looks at Junior Bevel and says, tell me what you see. And he struggles to tell him what he sees. Some people with different abilities ride horses. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. The thing about it is, if you can look in the mirror and love what you see and understand that you are okay and understand that you are doing what you need to do at the time you need to do it, as long as you are deciding to go on the path that you want to go on, and somebody isn't influencing you to go on that path because they think you should. Your dreams and your goals are yours, and nobody can take them away from you. So look, I promised y'all that I was going to do a show, and I did. I did not know how long the show was going to go. I'm going to try my best every Wednesday, 7 o'clock, Facebook Live, YouTube, My CP Does Not Define Me, Twitter, My CP Does Not Define Me, at Minion Sports. If you guys want to be a guest on the show or want to share your story, you can email me at mycpdoesnotdefinemE@yahoo.com. When you email me, please include a picture and a short bio about yourself. I don't need 90 paragraphs telling me who you are, where you're from, what your name is, how long your fingernails are. Not all that. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Just because you email me does not mean I'm going to have you on my show. What I'm going to do is contact you. I usually do interviews with people on Sundays. That is my least busiest day as of right now. I've got a lot of stuff going on, y'all. But I am booked up through June and part of July. So I got like two Wednesdays in July left. You can feel free to pick one of those dates that you would like, but every Wednesday at 7 o'clock, I will be here and I will do my best. I don't know how long we're going to go, but we're going. I want to thank everybody for being up here, for the comments, for the questions, new people, old people, people that have been here before. And look, if you know somebody that's struggling with self-esteem, that's the next week's show, self-esteem. We're going to be doing a show on self-esteem. Yeah, I saw the lip curl on that one. A lot of people struggle with that. Thank you so much, Miss Kayla. I'm so glad you were able to be here today. I know that this is going to be a rough show. And I'm going to tell you, we're probably going to have some tears and we're probably going to have some heartache and we're probably going to have some sadness next week. But you know what? We're going to get through it. This too shall pass. So remember, if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. This is D to the J with a roll away, saying I'll see you next week on My CP Does Not Define Me. You guys take it easy, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Everybody be great.
All right, everybody. That's going to do it for this week's episode of My CP Does Not Define Me. As always, you can catch us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, live on the Disability Global Podcast, Facebook Live, and on www.letgoradio.net. Also, if you haven't already checked out our YouTube channel, My CP Does Not Define Me, where we post all of our show's episodes in our My CP playlist. As always, I'm your host, D to the J with the roll away. If you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. We'll see you next week.